The Alberta Junior B North Final set to kick off this Thursday night from the Moyer Recreation Centre, and stepping up and in is head coach of the Fort Saskatchewan Rebels, Darren Bourret. Darren, welcome into the Junior B.
Thanks. How's it going, Mo?
Not too bad. Thanks for joining us here. Looking forward to getting some insight from you and see how you guys are preparing for the North Final. So my first question for you is, walk people through what your expectations were and goals entering the season, and if you sort of felt that you met a lot of those.
Well, our expectations for the start of the season was our goal was to finish first in the North. We could have that first round bye, which we did. To be honest, I thought that we struggled a little bit to start the season, I think that taught us a lot, and we overcame a lot of adversity we had to start the year, and we kind of figured things out. I feel like we kind of battled through a lot of injuries, so that kind of affected us a little bit as the season went on. And then, obviously, with a lot lighter schedule the last couple of weeks, we've gotten ourselves healthy, and I think we've reached our goal by finishing first in that first round bye. And our second goal was to make it past the North and get into provincials. So here we are.
That checks out. So who would you say surprised you most of the positive this season? Like one or two guys that sort of really stepped up and maybe exceeded what you sort of foresaw of them or getting from them this season?
From our team, there's a number of guys. I can kind of start listing them off if we want, but I'll start with some of our rookies. So we'll start with our Lloyd boys have really stepped up. I think they've exceeded expectations. They've ended up playing every single one of our games and been huge on the back end. At Darren and Teague, they're big, strong bodies. They got big, athletic kids. Obviously, Darren and Teague is a little bit different type of players, but they've both exceeded the expectations or where we kind of thought they would be when we drafted them. And that goes through the same thing for Aston Johnson. Is he kind of was a little bit upset when he got drafted in the 7th round because he thought he should be a lot higher, and we also agreed he should have been drafted much higher than he was. And feel like he was the steal of the draft in the 7th round. He could have easily been in the 2nd round of this draft, and nobody would have questioned it. He's been an outstanding player. He's another back-end guy, big body. And then a nice surprise has been Jacob McGillivray, our goalie. He's definitely stepped in. Hunter, our other goalie, our 5th-year goalie, got hurt at the start of the year, so we had to call to Jacob and Bo and ride those two, and Jacob stepped in and been an absolute wall for us. He's been a nice surprise.
Well, it certainly, when you lose some of the guys that you did, it certainly helps to have some young players come in and fill those voids, or at least help fill those voids. And I think, for anybody listening to this podcast, I want to sort of point out as well that I think Seth McKenzie might be the most improved player if not in the North, in the whole league. The kid, his overall game has improved so much. He's a guy that is playing both ends of the floor. He's doing a little bit of everything for you guys, and I think he's gonna. I mean, you can comment on this, but I think he's gonna have to be a real factor for you guys if you're gonna win this series.
He's definitely improved, and the year of school for him, he was the first year out of college this year, and I think that really helped him grow as a person and as a player. I see him as a Swiss Army knife. He can play everywhere. Last year we ended up playing him on the D side of the east side, and this year we've kind of used him in both sides of the ball. So, and he's done whatever we've asked of him, and he doesn't care where he plays. He just wants to play, and he wants our team to win. So he's definitely one of the players that will probably step up and help us succeed.
Yeah, for sure. I just see way more confidence in him with the ball on offense, in transition, and he's looking to shoot, which in the past wasn't necessarily the case, and it's good to see because, he's a guy with a lot of talent, and I think he's really started to reach his potential. And you mentioned Swiss Army knife. You got a lot of those, like McAdam and Eastwood and Bourret. That's really the strength of your team. So I wanted to ask you about the deadline here briefly. You decided to remain idle. I know you kicked tires on a few things. Was there anything that was almost ready to take place, or was it just a case of not much materializing and then you ultimately deciding, to just sit back?
We never really were gonna probably do a trade. Like we made some talks. We kicked tires on. I think we're 4 or 5 players just to see what the prices were, and we felt they definitely were too high, and we also were very confident in our team, so we didn't really feel a need to add anybody. I think we wanted to ride out the guys we got. We have it's kind of a good mix of a young team and a veteran team at the same time, so we didn't think we needed to add anything new. Last year we obviously added Fod Chuck to our team, and he helped out a lot, and this year obviously the Warriors did the same. They added Fod Chuck, and they feel he's going to help them, and he will. He's a very good player. So we obviously asked about him. At the same time, we just felt maybe a little bit priced out, but also felt that we're happy with the guys we got, and we didn't want to disrupt anything. And I think that the old guys we got are going to be strong enough and are ready to take on whatever challenge comes their way. So we didn't feel a need to make a move.
Yeah, I know oftentimes, like, when you bring guys in, it can often have a negative impact. Guys aren't fit. Guys kind of get bumped down the lineup. Guys sort of lose some confidence at times. So it can be a benefit to just sort of staying status quo, and it also can give guys more confidence with the message being sent that, the coaching staff and the organization has full belief in the guys that are already there. So, I mean, I think it's something that could work out, and I think time will tell there. So you get the Warriors for the 3rd year in a row in the North Final. What do you sort of see as the biggest challenge in dealing with them as you prepare for this series?
They're a good team. They're well coached. They're built well from the goaltending out. So strong goaltending. Tate's been obviously a 5th year that's been real strong goalie for them. And on their back end, they're big, strong, and they got a couple athletes. So they pressure the ball real well. And then their offense, that's usually their bread and butter. They have some high skilled players. So that's going to be our challenge with them. It's stopping their offense. I think we'll be fine, and I shouldn't have an issue too bad with it. I think we have a very strong and physical defense that can give them some problems of their own. So I think that's where we're going to stop them, and we're going to counter their strengths with our strengths. Best team's going to win.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely who the Warriors are, and that's their identity, is their offense. And we'll touch on that in a second. But before that, I just asked what the Warriors' strength, or what you see as the Warriors' biggest strength being. Now I want to ask you where you believe your biggest advantage lies in this matchup.
Biggest one would be depth. Depth-wise, we feel up and down our lineup we're strong. We're very strong. Like from our number 1 guy to our number 25 guy, I feel like we can throw guys in wherever we need to put them, and there's not going to be much of a drop-off. So that's one of our strengths. Goaltending-wise, I think we have probably the best trio of goalies in the league. Probably the only trio, but the best 1, 2, 3, 1A, 1B, and 1C goalie trio out there with Hunter and Bo and Jacob. So I think that's one of our biggest strengths. And then our defense is really strong, and we're big. We're big, strong defense with a lot of athletes. So we have the ability to run the ball on teams. And then as well as our offense, like, we're very gritty, hardworking teams. So that's really where our strength is being athletic, strong defense, and just outworking teams.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair assessment, especially like that blue-collar type approach and attitude. I can definitely agree with that. So stylistically, and I think I know where you're going to go with this, and I know where I would go with this if I was you. do you feel as though a really physical, tighter series that's maybe a little bit lower scoring would benefit you, or do you think that a run and gun, open-ended, a higher scoring series would play more into your hands?
The lower scoring games are probably where we're better suited. And I think we have that ability to be in a dogfight with any team. Lower scoring, tighter D. It's going to be. I think the series is going to come down to who's going to make the most mistakes and who's going to capitalize on said mistakes the most. And that's really where we see a lot of goals going to come from in the series. I believe is from breakdowns and capitalizing on just mistakes.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that the Rebels traditionally, at least, especially over the last couple of years, but even dating back before that, have always sort of been very opportunistic and will jump on mistakes. The ball will go in the corner, and you guys find a way to come up with it, and roll out in front of the net. Balls, loose balls off face-offs, strips in the middle of the floor, turnovers. So that I would definitely foresee that being a way that you can have success, and the type of game that you'll want to have here as we head into game one. So lastly, I want to ask you, Darren, the 2022 team comes up short, losing in 2. 2023, you come closer, losing 3, but still fall short. Why and how will 2024 be different?
Well, our team is built up from the last 3 or 4 years of being a young rookie team, and going back 2 years ago, we came back. We were third in the standings, and we ended up upsetting the CROW to get to the final round. And then we got swept, obviously, by the Warriors. But we were a very young team at that time. I think we were majority first and second years, and the same group. The whole entire team was the same group all the way up. So, and then last year, we obviously were a much stronger group, way better record, and finished second. Ended up being tied in standings with the Warriors, with same record, and then finished in second. And we ended up having to play that first round, and same thing, we had to play that first. We ended up playing the Warriors, somewhat similar to what the Outlaws, similar to what the Warriors did this year, and it ended up causing us a lot of injuries last year. And Ethan Peterson ended up breaking both his feet and trying to play through that series. I think Carter Albert ended up losing entirely. He broke one of his feet as well, or one of his foot.
That's insane. Broken feet.
Yeah. So Peter had 2 broken feet. It was pretty insane watching him play. He was showing up to the game, and he broke his other foot as well in the second series.
How did he even get out? That just boggles my mind.
I don't know. He's an absolute warrior. And anyway, so we felt we were playing a little bit shorthanded last year, just a lot of injuries and whatever. They're giving everything we got, and we fell short. Obviously, the Warriors were a very good team. We felt we were right there with them, and obviously that we were 3 or 4 goals short last year. And this year, by finishing first, we got that first round bye, allowing us to get healthy. And there's another year of injured for the season, with some games having 8 to 9 guys out with injuries. So getting that week off was real nice for the guys. We have our full lineup for the first time this year for our first game of the series on Thursday, which is awesome because last year that was definitely a disadvantage, and this year with home floor advantage and having that week off where the Warriors had to play 2 games, that should really help us out this year and benefit us greatly. And I hope that makes a little bit of a difference for why things will be different this year than last year. And then on top of that, a lot of our players, like I said, the same group, they're so close, and they just want to win for each other. They don't care individual accolades or anything like that. They're all in it for each other, and they're all brothers, and they want to succeed. And they're definitely a driven group. They don't need to be told what to do. They know they want what to take, and they're willing to do it, I think.
Yeah, no,
it's a very hungry group.
Yeah, it's a team that does set up well nicely as an underdog because it's traditionally a team that plays with a lot of willpower, and and a lot of courage and a lot of intensity. So, you know, there's going to be avenues for the Rebels to come out and surprise people. And I definitely think getting a guy like Reed Lowe back is definitely going to make a huge difference to the offense, natural goal scorer. And yeah, you're right. I mean, obviously I know I've said this before, but getting that bye, people, I don't know if they realize how important that is at times. It just allows guys to sort of reset, kind of take a break, and just get healthier. And that's always important come playoff time. So those are all good points. That's Darren Bourret, head coach of the Fort Saskatchewan Rebels. The Rebels and Warriors begin their best-of-3 North final Thursday night inside the Moyer Recreation Center. Winner punches their tickets to the Provincials in Airdrie. Darren, appreciate the time and best of luck.
Thank you.